Hey guys, Wolf412 here. Now, as I promised everyone for the first time ever, that we will review a horror movie, and to kick things off is Pro Wrestlers vs. Zombies. Now, I have been a big time wrestling fan all my life, ever since growing up, and ever since I remembered watching the late great Eddie Guerrero, and that was where Big Show had his moments with the late great Eddie Guerrero. But enough about me. But the thing is, I did promise everyone a review of Pro Wrestlers vs. Zombies. Now, before we start, I just want to point out a few finger pointers that if you have not seen this film, this video contains spoiler alerts, and if you have not seen it, I highly recommend you skip ahead to the end of this video. But however, if you have seen it, then that's okay. You can still watch the video and the review. Now, before we start, I just want to point out that I think this is the first time ever that I'm doing a review on a horror movie. My last ever review on my channel was from a project that I think was really cool at first, but it has already ended as it is. Now, let's get started. As we start off in the film, I remembered there was a lot of great wrestling action and a lot of openings going on in some great matches I thought I'd never see, until we get straight to the story involving ECW legend and the franchise, Shane Douglas, who is mad at a girl he knew for a long time by the name of Tara Billy, who I think she kind of didn't look like a wrestler, but I kind of think she looked more like a manager, in my opinion. But moving on. In the middle of the film, as you can tell, it boils up to where in the story that we get straight to the match between Bop and Billy and Shane Douglas. As the match went on, it was until in the story that Shane Douglas had Bob and Billy in a tombstone piledriver position, but the referee was screaming at him, "Shane, no." And he tombstone piledrived him right on the canvas. That sounded wrong, but anyways. After he got the 3 count, Bob and Billy was pronounced dead on the scene. And that was where our story begins, with the promoter, played by the director, and of course, Angus, the brother of Bop and Billy. He was already upset of what's going on behind the scenes, but however, in the story, he booked a private gig at an empty prison. And the money was loaded, but however, he only wanted Shane Douglas and Tara Billy only for the show. But however, the promoter decided to throw in none other than the late great Rowdy Roddy Piper, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Kurt Angle, Matt Hardy, and his lovely girlfriend, who is now happily married, Ruby Sky. And then the story points out to where there were a couple of indie promoting wrestlers that I think have a lot of potential to go a long way in the business. Now, as everyone knows, is that I myself am currently a student of the game. I've learned so much as it is, but heck, I never knew what to expect. But anyways, as everyone knows, deep within the story, it all started where they made a deal for the private gig to take place at an empty prison. But as we get to the next scene, it boiled down to a nurse leaving the hospital. As she was putting on her makeup, I was kind of shocked to see a bit of glass shatter and black smoke coming out of the makeup lens, or whatever it was with the mirror. But as she looked around, one of her co-workers scared her, which was supposed to be a prank. Then, deep within the story, as she was heading around the building, it was where Angus kidnapped her, and all of a sudden, it boiled down to where some kind of bizarre ritual began where I just don't want to talk about it. It's kind of gross. Yuck. Anyways, and what happened next was, after the ritual was done, the demon he was working for boiled down to where that he wanted to work for the demon in order to get more power and get his revenge on Shane Douglas for killing his brother, Bob and Billy. But then, as we point out, going to the next scene, that was where the indie wrestlers were heading to their next gig. They went to go see Angus, but however, they met the nurse who became a zombie. And as the fight broke out, I kind of noticed there were some wrestling tactics I thought were really cool at first, but then all of a sudden, that was when Angus ripped off a lamppost and hit the guy around the back of his head who was still standing. But I was kind of shocked that the guy was huge. He looked like he was nearly 7 feet tall. But anyways, throughout the scene, that was where he tried to go after Angus, but instead got caught by a 3D, Shades of the Dudleys. Then we go straight to the next scene, where Shane Douglas is at his family's home, having breakfast. And that was where his brother wanted to know that if he was still doing the wrestling business, knowing how it is, but his mother was trying to talk him out of it, but however, this is something that Shane needs to do. At first, he tried to invite his nephew to the next show, but he asked him to hold down the fort. And if he did, he would bring him to the next show, be a part of it. And after he accepted, as Shane Douglas' nephew went into the house, oh dear. The zombies were attacking, trying to tell him to run, but he got too scared to the point. When I saw that scene, I was like, come on kid, move, what are you doing? But as we get to the next scene, the promoter was in his office, and Shane Douglas was not happy with the results, knowing he has not been paid in full, and the check kept on bouncing. And that was where the promoter pointed out to him that they have a private gig first thing tomorrow at Empty Prison, and that they wanted him. That if he did this, he'd be paid in full in cash. But as Shane Douglas pointed out to him was, you got yourself a franchise for one more night. And the only thing I could say is, that was one scene I thought I'd never see. Pardon the pun there, folks. As I was shocked out of my mind after that moment, that was where Roddy Piper showed up and was signing autographs for the fans, along with Shane Douglas. They were happy, having their conversation, and then we get this a worker who was also a promoter for the business. I think she was there to talk with the promoter of a wrestling company, which actually exists, last I looked, by the name of Extreme Rising, which was founded by Shane Douglas during that time. And I was kind of shocked that it was right in the middle of the film. So they had their talk about the business, and she enjoyed the ride with the other wrestlers. As they were having their talk on the bus, Roddy Piper explained it to her about Shane's history in the business. But it came down to one scene in particular, which I kind of found confusing at what happened. They were at a pizza parlor, trying to make sure they got a chance to eat before heading back on the road, straight back to the Empty Prison. But that was where it was kind of confusing to me at first when I saw the scene. Like, at first Shane was messing with her, and then Tara got back at the promoter, which I think was supposed to be like some kind of business associate, whatever she was. But that was where she dumped soda on her, and Roddy did not take it lightly. So Roddy Piper left. And as we got to the scene of the prison, knowing it was empty, the band showed up, and then all of a sudden, the zombies came out attacking. They basically tore that band apart like, oh man, like chopped liver. Just good lord. I didn't know what to expect, but when they pulled in, we get straight to the bus driver, who was actually a hidden demonic demon who made the deal with Angus. But, however, as soon as they pulled up, that was where he made his statement well known, and he asked everyone to hand in their cell phones. But I was like, dude, they need their cell phones in order to promote their characters on what's going on. Even if, and only if, they really wanted their cell phones back, they could have asked you. But anyways, throughout the film, he went to Roddy Piper, asked for his phone, and he told him he didn't have one. Until Roddy just got right in his face and explained to him if he had a cell phone, he would give it to him. And he never had one in his life. And he said to him, "Now leave me alone." But as they got straight into the prison for the private gig, they didn't know what to expect. They were happy at first playing the instruments, and that was where I think the promoter's newfound partner, or whatever her role was in the film, I was so shocked to see that they got a chance to play the instruments, and let alone where she was just like, oh my god, is this, guys, this is blood. And then the other guy that came in was just like, nah, that's just maple corn syrup, she's just being an emo chick. And I was like, what the heck am I seeing here? What's this guy's deal? But anyways, as we get straight to the next scene, that was where Kurt Angle popped up and realized he didn't know what was going on. And one of his workers asked him, "What is going on, Mr. Angle, sir?" And he said, "It's a surprise, remember?" So Kurt Angle came in as a surprise appearance within the film, and by the time the zombies started attacking, he beat the living heck out of them like they were nothing left. Double clothesline, Angle slam, and as he caught him straight into the ankle lock, I was so shocked out of my mind that he broke the ankle off, and I was like, what the heck am I seeing? Then Kurt Angle used the boot, but throughout the scene, he got taken out by the big zombie, the big guy that was like nearly 7 feet tall. And Angle was surrounded, and then as we get straight to the next scene, it was kind of confusing to me knowing it was a zombie attack. As Kurt Angle walked in, he was turned into a zombie, and as the fight broke out with everybody, the zombies and the pro wrestlers were going at it tenfold. But one of them was loving it and think this was a video game, but it's not. But Hacksaw was hitting the top rope. I was like, what the heck am I seeing here? And the zombies were like backing off, like what the heck? I didn't know what to expect throughout the scene, but that was where we got straight up wrestling action in the ring. That Kurt Angle was going at it with Shane Douglas. An Angle slam, ankle lock, and then Roddy Piper got involved. But as one of the pro wrestlers were trying to survive the zombie attack, it was too late. The numbers game caught up to him, and then started becoming a zombie afterwards in the process. But throughout the fight with zombie Kurt Angle, and yeah, let's just call him that, and let alone everyone else involved with Roddy Piper and Shane Douglas and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Kurt Angle was taken out of the film, and I believe it was a brief 10-minute start, and I believe it was an amazing cameo appearance in my book, at which I did not see coming, at least. But anyways, I give it a solid 10 out of 10 for the cameo appearance. but I didn't know what to expect. But anyways, as we got straight to the part where Shane Douglas, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and Roddy Piper were surrounded by zombies. They had nowhere to go. They were trapped in the ring until Angus revealed that he has Shane Douglas's whole family. And that was where they escaped the ring, and it worked. And that was where they had their huddle, and they ran right past the zombies like, excuse me if I talk religious, but Moses-like. There were zombies on the left and zombies on the right as they were running out of there. I was like, what the heck am I seeing? Until one of the wrestlers jumped off the top rope and did what looked like to be a 630 off the top and took out the entire zombies and ran for it. And Angus got in the ring with the nurse, who became a zombie later on in the film. Or should I say, like, earlier in the film, but my apologies for the mix-up. I was like, what the heck? You want to get in the ring right now, Angus? Well, were we supposed to see a wrestling show, or what? But anyways, as they escaped the zombies, Matt Hardy and his girlfriend, already shocked to know what was going on, until Roddy Piper wanted to know what was the beef between Shane Douglas and Angus early on in the film. But the girl that was, I think, the business partner of Extreme Rising for the promoter, basically had a machete in hand and had her own theme song. But I was like, what the heck? And that was where we got straight to the point between Roddy Piper and Shane Douglas. And Roddy Piper wanted to know what was going on and what the history was going on and the beef between Shane Douglas and Angus. And Shane Douglas pointed out about what happened to his brother Billy. And Billy keeps being mentioned on into the film on numerous occasions, but deep down in my mind, I think it was pretty cool. But throughout the film, that was where he pointed out that Billy was dead because Shane Douglas messed up the tombstone. But Hacksaw said that Billy didn't tuck in his chin. I think I knew what he meant by that, but anyways. Throughout the film, they plan an escape, and we see the guy that claiming that he might be rebooted after being taken out by the zombies, but I was like, what the heck, man? Come on, this ain't no video game. This is a pure fight with the zombies. What are you doing? But then it came down to it that Matt Hardy tried to escape, but was outnumbered by a horde of zombies. And I think Matt Hardy did incredible fighting off one of them. And throughout the film, as they cut straight to the point where Ruby Sky was worried about her boyfriend and tried to get Matt Hardy out of there, that was where, I don't want to talk about it. Let's just say he became short in the process as he got pulled out a horde of zombies. But Ruby Sky basically got bit in the process and then became a zombie. And I think she nailed the part of the zombie transformation really good. And both of them were out of the film after that. But, oh dear. As it came down to it, Shane Douglas and Hacksaw split up as Roddy Piper and everyone else was trying to figure out a way out of the prison. But after they had their talk for a moment, it was until Shane ran off and left Hacksaw to defend himself against the zombies. And that was where Hacksaw was outnumbered, and the zombies got another victim. But in the meantime, throughout the film, that was where Shane ran into Tyler, and basically that was where she knew that Shane Douglas never cared about her and he wanted to be famous and to be the hero. And after all of that, she left him. I'm gonna say this to you right now, Shane. I think you ended up in the doghouse, my friend. But as we move on to the film, he tried to escape every other zombie imaginable. And that was where he was trying to head to the surveillance room of the prison. And that was where things led to bad to worse. And then it came down to where Roddy Piper, half everyone was surviving. And as they were running, the zombies were chasing them. And Roddy Piper told them to split up and to have them keep going, that he'd keep them busy. And I knew what he meant by that. As one of the zombies ran into the kitchen, he beat the living heck out of those zombies like they were nothing. And then that led to where Roddy Piper basically hit him with a frying pan. And more importantly, it was until he threw a microwave at one of the zombies. And as he gave one of them a headbutt, that was where I found a hidden Easter egg within the film that was a reference to the early days of professional wrestling, when Roddy Piper picked up a coconut and hit the zombie right in the head. And he beat the heck out of those zombies like they were nothing. And as he pointed out, that zombie killing was hard. It was the first time he had to use a pencil. But as we move on into the film, half of everyone was surviving, but however, Terry didn't get off so lucky with her friend. And the other guy, I had no idea who he was, basically outsmarted the girls, left them to the zombies. He tried to escape with brass knuckles, but didn't end up too good. He was taken out in the process. But Shane Douglas was trying to escape until Angus and him went face to face, eye to eye. In a very bizarre scene at first. I was like, what the heck am I seeing here? It was until Shane Douglas admitted in the film that he did it. And that was when he escaped the prison. And throughout the film, Roddy Piper tried to escape and found out that the girl survived, which I think was supposed to be the promoter's partner. Let's just call her that, yeah. Because the promoter's partner and Roddy Piper tried to escape until they saw Angus doing another ritual to create another zombie. And Roddy was ticked and couldn't take it. So they escaped the prison and they were out in the fields. And as Roddy pointed out, they were outside and right above Old Glory. And Angus pointed out that this is just the beginning and the source of his own power. And Roddy Piper did his talk, letting Angus know that he had his time in the 80s and he was a freaking icon. And that pointed out to where he even took on the legendary Hulk Hogan and he fought cancer, which I'm kind of shocked about, as he admitted that in the film. But that was where Angus called in more power, and that demonic bus driver gave him all the power he wanted, and there were more zombies coming. But as we got straight to the film, that was where the fight broke out, and the promoter's partner survived, and so did Roddy Piper. And then the last horde, as they took out every last one of them, that was where Shane came face to face with Roddy. But Roddy Piper basically found out what Shane had done, and he was not happy about it at all. It was until Roddy Piper and Shane had their talk, until Shane Douglas's zombie family was going right after him. He didn't want to do it by destroying every zombie from his family. And then he broke down into tears until he had to face his own nephew. He was crying, couldn't believe what he done. And then Angus and every last zombie went at it with Shane Douglas, and he was done. But the only two that survived during the fight were Roddy Piper and the promoter's business partner. It was until she got bitten but fought everything she had until one of them hit their head, which I was kind of shocked about, which was the demon's weakness. And then Piper had to realize that she was hurting him. And by the time that in the film, I saw an amazing tombstone pile driver. Right as she hit it, every zombie was taken out and they were done. And was this part of the deal between the demonic bus driver and Angus? That if the zombies got hit on their heads or anything, that he would lose the source of his power? Anyways, it was until Angus was the only man to survive, and Roddy Piper and him went at it, and as Roddy Piper hated a bully, he pointed out to Angus as a bully, and then finished him off with his cane. And Angus was defeated, and the demonic force that he made a deal with was destroyed. But the ending of the film I kind of found astonishing. That the girl and Roddy Piper were kissing under Old Glory. And it was kind of a way to go in my opinion, but I think it did tell the story of pro wrestlers versus zombies, and I think after that ending, it showed that pro wrestlers have won, and zombies didn't have any chance at all. But in the end, after watching the film, I was so amazed that after what I've seen from pro wrestlers versus zombies, I didn't know what to expect. But yet, the sad part was Hacksaw Jim Duggan got turned into a zombie, and Roddy Piper was sad to see him that way. And he destroyed him at the end of the film. He destroyed him before he escaped, and right before the end of the film. Now, in my honest opinion, after watching this film a couple of times now, I immediately loved it from the beginning because I thought I was just going to see a plain old wrestling match, but after seeing zombies and pro wrestlers going at it, oh man, was I wrong. I kind of wish that Pro Wrestlers vs. Zombies had a sequel, and it would have been amazing to see that. So, in my honest opinion, I rank this a solid 10 out of 10. Because after watching Pro Wrestlers vs. Zombies, I believe it's a great film. And I highly recommend anyone out there that wants to get a chance to watch Pro Wrestlers vs. Zombies, feel free to. Because it'd be cool to get your opinions on it and see what you think. But yet, I kind of wish that if it was on Dead Meat for a kill count, that would be cool. Anyways, that about wraps it up for this review, and I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you don't miss another video. And most importantly though, folks, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you guys want me to do another review, which I'll be more than glad to, because our next review will be Wrestle Massacre. And I'm kind of shocked to find out how far that the channel has come and gone. And I just want to thank you guys so much for the past amazing 10 years as we head into 2025, knowing of what's going to happen. Because it's a new year thus far, and I just want to thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for all the amazing support. And no matter what, our motto here at 412 Films Productions is, you won't see anything anywhere else. Thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to tell my friends I said, what's up?